Hey guys, long time no see. Which is not abnormal for me, but this time I have like a legitimate reason. Like other times it's just really like, do I really want to get into YouTube? Do I really want to create content? And I really decided to, and I really enjoyed to. Those videos were coming back to back for me for a bit, and I was like, good for me. And then, um, yeah, I made a video similar to what I'm calling this series now, which I might continue to call it unscripted, where I vlogged and I basically said like I'm upgrading my life. And I was officially trying to go out for things that were like, how do I say, more what I wanted to do in the long term, including creating content to some degree. And let's just say I very much value my privacy, even though I do want to create content. My content is occasionally about me. When I do so, I still want to give my privacy the highest and utmost that's good job. um, I just moved. Long story short, I just moved to a new city yet again in my life. I did that 7 years ago when I moved from my state of Alabama. And now I've done it again at 25. And it's a thing to actually, how to describe this other than be alone. I have been living with family since for 25 years. And the first thing that came to my mind when this happened was I get to have peace. Like the first thing that really came to my mind was like I am pretty like open about the fact that I do have trauma, childhood trauma, and the first thing that came to my mind was that I'm safe, and that was great. That euphoria of feeling like there's a space where I can protect it for sure, but it is inherently safer than any space I've been in the past. Um, because I am officially free from any obligation of connection to those who may have hurt me. And I can choose when I can compromise things and when I cannot. Compare it to when you're living with family where you kind of just have to go with what the whole wants, what the house wants. And I found that so difficult even when I felt like my boundaries were being respected. It felt like it could never be 100% respected because of um again, private, never going to be sharing like details, but to pretend that any family doesn't have conflict is to ignore like the fact that they're all humans. We're all humans in this. um but when you have your own space, you can choose when you go into that conflict, or you can choose to not be in the conflict and go home. And that is that choice, having a choice, that has been extremely new to me. And I guess it has made me a bit emotional because now I'm entering what I heard is not abnormal, but genuinely a state of like depression because I don't know what my life looks like from here. Like you think about I think about where I wanted to go when I was a child and that trauma. I got there. I'm here. Yay. And now it's like you're now a traumatized person trying to like imagine your future without it being from a traumatized perspective. You want to move on, you want to keep going. I don't like this background, guys. It doesn't, I don't feel like I'm getting the right light on my. One second. Better, better. The shade, like, there we go. Ugh, starting mess. But that kind of like got me into the second part of this live, which is me doing my first hobby in my apartment. I have my first apartment. If you can't tell by the changing background, um, and it's just like, um, but we're going to be creating, um, I'm talking to myself a little bit there because I am a bit nervous to do this in front of, well, we'll see if people see this or watch this or care. Um, but I have been drawing all my life, but I've never to any ever capacity tried to be an artist. However, one Christmas, we decided that we were going to do the Charlie Brown Christmas theme, and we were going to actually make the Charlie Brown characters from scratch. 1 second. And I drew them, I outlined them from scratch on like wood. My mom and I learned how to saw and like use a cut thing, like a blade thing, and we actually made them. And I think I have pictures, and maybe if I reference this again, I'll bring up the pictures. I'll have pictures next time I go live. I'm gonna try to make this a weekly thing. Um, because I like going live and I like talking and chatting more than creating like videos and editing when it comes to my life compared to like the content I create where I'm like talking about something in deep analysis. I need to make sure I go back and check myself and all that jazz. Whereas when it's about me, it's like me just talking about my truth, right? So she doesn't require much editing unless I'm starting to talk about other things. So I'm going to try to sit here and put my feelings about living alone and having that complicated feeling of peace and loneliness. And I feel like my whole 20s will be around deconstruction because you don't live through trauma for 25 years. I won't say 25, I'll say like a solid 18. Um, and work through all of that in your 18s and 20s to not have built in some beliefs that aren't true about yourself. And I'm trying to break those down. I'm trying to give myself a chance to see things in a different way because a lot of that is internalized, but a lot of that is like internalized for a reason. Like our media constantly shoves this thought of even when someone's living alone in an apartment, it's still like sexual partners coming over all the time, friends coming over whenever they want, but they don't really show like no one's cutting to like multiple scenes of them just sitting alone in their house. But that's what happens a lot of the time, right? And I get it, that's kind of boring. But the point is like when you've been raised around chaos, boring can seem like an issue. And I have done a bit of work trying to deconstruct that, but it's definitely being tested living truly alone. Um, so I want to kind of talk less here at this point and draw more. So I'm gonna go find some non-YouTube copywritten music, and I am going to start drawing. And I'll try to keep this live um, going until I get like a solid outline. And then I will actually come back and show you guys the finished product. Um, More than likely at some point this week on my social medias. Follow me on social media. Zero REM underscore Ember, my name, or zero REM underscore Ember, my name. Remember my name with underscore and zero in front of it. So when I put that, I'll put it on here and I'll put it I'll put it in the chat right now. I should do that anyway. Mm. Okay, officially, and getting this down. Put my I want to be able to see though. And actually, I need to go find some coffee music first. So give me a second. I know YouTube has their like copyright issues, so I'm trying to find ones that don't know how long I'm going to be doing this. So let's say, so far I've kind of look. I'm going to be, like I said, I'm a knowing artist, but I do think that if I don't have, like, in that Charlie Brown situation, an image that I can really just repeat, it's really hard for me to create from scratch. So this is definitely a hobby that I plan on testing myself with, but ultimately a hobby, and not something that I feel any necessity to be great or good at, which I think again is deconstructing beliefs about myself, about perfectionism, about all these other things that I've talked about in other videos. So yeah. But I want it to kind of be a vibe. Okay. So, but I also recognized also, yes, my nail broke my nails, life happens. Um, what I kind of learned from uh going through my paint and stuff is that I don't have in a lot of colors. I have like brown, purple, and stuff. So we're gonna do abstract, we're gonna do feelings. But to say that this will actually look like something that portrays that is again not a hobby that would then become doing something for professional reasons. And that's not why I do this. So I know what first, like I say this because I'm going to break like a lot of rules here. I'm going to pen and outline everything that I'm doing. So yeah. Don't know what I'm gonna be drawing. So again, I can't tell you what I'm drawing. The only like thought I had literally before I recognized that I do not have like this is gonna be hard to show you guys any. The only idea I kind of had was this reminds me of how I kind of felt. Oh yeah, I should do that. I'm gonna put this in my phone instead so that it doesn't interrupt audio issues or anything. Was kind of this fire thought. So I'm kind of like mimicking that thought. So that's kind of what I'm going to go ahead and start off with. This is not a good fire at all. But again, it's abstract art. It's not supposed to per se look like anything except for what kind of the artist or their watcher is like. It's not supposed to be perfect. That's not the point of a professional drawing. I actually prefer starting my outlines in pen because I don't want the ability to erase. Because again, that's gonna trigger my perfectionism and make me want to draw everything perfectly. And that's not why I'm doing this. And then when it comes to like my drawing flow, I like suddenly start seeing things and then suddenly I'm like, well, these are mountains. Like music waves. But it could still also look like smoke, right? It's not bad. I like it. It's the point. But the point of the fire was that I was gonna then do the rest of this. I was like, oh, we gotta do this in a live. Let's try to get it all finished. I was gonna just paint black around and just focus on the colors of the fire. But I don't have that many colors. So I haven't even really thought about how that's going to change. This may how this starts may not look anything how this ends. And I think that's what makes it entertaining inherently. Um, at least in the end for me, or through the process for me. So then I'm actually going to look at it from a different angle. There's some like imperfect indentations on here, probably from me just like picking it up and stuff. And I do like using those as kind of like to like movies, and I gotta be careful with that. So we're going to again move this way. We're going to kind of block it for now so YouTube doesn't strike me while I continue. So it's kind of like sometimes I feel like the point of this was, and I was thinking about putting it in black, was that even no matter how much I like feel like I'm surrounded by loneliness, there's always been in my opinion, this part of me that's a fire that as long as it doesn't kind of die, whatever it will eventually disrupt the darkness to some degree. Maybe not any degree that's like proportional to the amount of blackness. So like now that I think about it, maybe I could even start sectioning out this portion. So it's like, oh God, okay. All this is gonna be darkness. This is the only amount of light that I get this kind of I have to focus on because if I focus on the darkness, it's not great, you know? And that's kind of why I'm picking up this hobby. It's like it's honestly it helps the time go by, but it's like eventually, you do get better at things as you go on your time. Like you can be proud of yourself without it ever fulfilling any sort of like general standard. So then I think I'm gonna do these eyes in the brown, but I don't have black. So that's why this face can't be that. So I gotta figure out how to kind of convey something else in this. Okay. Just gonna start lines now. I don't know why, but I really like that. So I'm gonna I think that I want this piece to be a projection of what I want to deconstruct about myself. And I think the first thing I have to start thinking is that my light has gotten a little bigger. Some really awesome, fun things have happened in my life that I am really happy about, and I'm more worried about losing. And I've never had that feeling of like something in my life I wanted to stay around. I've been trying to lose it and find something else, but there are things here where I'm like, I want this. This is what I've been dreaming about. This is the hope. This is what my hope was for, at least in this part of my life. Not every part, but this part in particular, that has afforded me a peaceful space to have a hobby. I think I'm gonna fill in my hills and valley smoke here. See how much again is left once I start adding colors to this. But this is the part that kind of somewhat takes me out of reality for a bit. Like I already know, this is why I'm like, it's pushing me because I very much don't want that to be outside of that triangle and it right, which is that time to like change up the perspective here. So I feel like I'm not again, I've never taken a class on art, but when I have gone, I love going to museums. So I have seen abstract art. I've noticed what I like about it, which is more of the chaos that creates a story. And so I want to connect this to something because this eye is looking towards the light. This eye is looking towards whatever this is going to be. I think I would like a third eye, kind of like our own third eye, to be like maybe searching somewhere. Maybe it's dramatically bigger. Hmm. Decisions. This is what art makes you do. It makes you make decisions, right? So I'm going to start with I have a feeling these are going to end up being the four walls of my apartment. And my apartment walls kind of like increases on a slant. So I'm gonna kind of show that part off here. And for the moment, I'm gonna be on for like another 10, 15 minutes. Decisions here. But I'm going to search. Mm, maybe this could be about gaining like more peace. If this is the part I've like, if this is the residual of all the stuff I've currently deconstructed, what if I like have little puddles here showing like where I am working? And we won't color them the same, whatever the rest of this will be. And I also like leopard print. I think this is gonna end up inevitably on my wall. So I think that'll also add to the personality. And this will be the main like color like focus. I don't really have anything for these. So, ooh, this could totally be the third eye. Okay, hold on. I used to love drawing butterflies as a kid. It's kind of like other than eyes, the first thing I like learned how to like do. I think I want. I like that, but I can't tell where. Oh, there it is. I see. Okay, make it, guys. You probably don't see it because I can probably not what I'm seeing. But does it not look like this is a person on their hands and knees? Kind of. It's almost like animalistic person here. Almost like they're praying to the fire, or to my like little blobs of like peace here. I think and what is to emphasize this is a thing. I think that's one where color is gonna have to come into play. And keep going with my little dots here for the last like few minutes. I think I have blue. So I think I'm gonna actually do blue instead of black in these bed space. I don't want these to be colored in at all. Allow that to be textured. And this too. I'm gonna maybe go around it in the blue. But I really want this to kind of show that these are all these little parts of me that I'm deconstructing, little amoebas inside my body, in the same way that like amoebas are learning and changing based off of what we presented. It's always our psychology, and I'm like changing things internally, um, so that I can build up this fire, this light that inevitably produces this beautiful color. We'll figure it out there. We'll see what we can get in the mixer because we can mix colors together. So we'll see. Anytime I show like my mom my arts and painting, she's always like, "Nope, don't get it." So I totally understand that you guys probably won't, which is okay. It's not for others to get. This could be an alien from a foreign planet landing on Earth and doing something completely different than what I'm saying. I don't know, but for me, this is the inspiration that came behind it, and so I thought I'd share. And this is kind of like to me, I've always kind of saw this as a teleportation device. Like this is how this little thing got here. How can I maybe ground this? Thought about doing like a self-portrait for like 30 seconds, and absolutely not. The answer quickly was absolutely not. Okay. Figured that didn't show you very well. Let's see. Ah! Can't figure out how to lay this down. Let's show you. Okay, here it is. So I wanted to ground this. I was again trying to always figure out where to connect. So it's kind of seeping into this is kind of what I'm gonna make like reality outside life. And then this portal into the inside of my home is just this space that I'm currently constructing and feeling and with things. And this is my little brainchild trying to figure it all out, how to figure out how to build more of these. I actually like it because like I do have like brain children. I do. But again, privacy. So I like having kind of like this animated character to represent myself inside my own brain here. And I like that it's kind of floating. It looks like it's floating in space for me, at least. So suddenly this has gotten kind of spacey. Which I don't mind. Then like a little bigger one, but still not huge. This is pretty darn relaxing. I always like drawing eyes. I don't know why. I genuinely do not know why. The eyes are so attractive and like personal. It shows her personality quite quickly. Hey, goodness, I'm gonna wrap this up. It's just back up here. Shut up, your shits. This is what we got so far. I think it's gonna sit this way. Oh, let's down on it. Figure out how to get this right. Lighting. So hard. Okay. Let's further the option. There we go. An angle. There we go. That's what we're starting with. Let's see what we. Let's see another. Yeah, here's what we're starting with. We'll be back next week and see what we end with. Thank you guys for watching and rewatching. And as I say, may my faith be enough for us both. Have a good night.